Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Coming up, we want to help you stick to your New Year's resolutions with some handy apps.
Plus apps for apes, no hands iPad stands, and Pics Thru.
All that and this thing needs more color.
Yeah.
On iPad today. Good one.
I did it
You're
just
really
right.
getting the hang of it.
I am Mr. Finger.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to iPad Today.
We're so glad to have you here on the show about iPads, iOS, and the community that loves it.
Aren't you glad we don't do the show kind of like that, like plastic people, TV people?
It would be kind of fun to do an NPR iPad
Oh,
today.
that'd be fun.
So today,
It's like golf.
We're really excited.
Today on iPad Today.
We're very, very excited.
Very excited.
For some sweaty balls.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Okay, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. That's a skit about NPR people.
Oh.
Ish.
Okay.
Ish.
Okay.
So-
Saturday Night Live again, huh?
No, I just, you guys know what I'm talking about.
They
I know
know.
you do.
I don't watch TV.
Well,
I'm busy.
okay.
Sleeping.
You know what you should do?
What?
You should get out and run around more because
I
it's
should.
2012, and I assume that's one of your New Year's resolutions. Because it always seems to be at the beginning of the year, you go, I've got this whole new exercise regimen.
Everybody does that. I don't know why we do that because it always flops by February. But I'm doing it, diet and exercise. I'm going on a new diet on Monday after Vegas.
Okay.
A week from Monday.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to Vegas
That's
for
smart.
CES. I can't do a diet in CES.
Yeah, that's...
And then a new exercise regimen. I was at the gym this morning, rowing, lifting, ellipticizing.
I was at the gym, too. I'm actually, Tom and I were talking about it. I'm not mentally tired, but I'm physically very fatigued.
Yeah, and I think that exercise can help that. It's sluggish blood.
Right. It's almost like you're tired, and then the more you do it, the less tired you are.
So we're going to help
Beauty of
you with your
exercise.
New Year's resolutions, even though we know they're futile and that you will...
Well, they don't have to be. That's the whole point of this exercise.
There's some good stuff on here to help you.
The thing is that people make resolutions of all kinds, but some of the common ones have to do with how you eat or
Health and exercise,
how organized you are or how much you exercise or if you're going to save money, that sort of thing. And
So far, nobody has made a help you clean the garage app. Because if they do, tell me.
you know what you can do?
What?
TaskRabbit it. Have somebody clean your garage for you
That's a
and
great
use
idea.
the app in order to find that person.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So there is.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
There's something for everybody on this here internet. The first app that I want to talk about is something that we haven't talked about in the past, and that's sort of silly because it is pretty well known and used by a lot of people, especially in the Facebook community, and that is an app called Foodily. So that's Foodily. Not to be confused with Foodsy or Foodly or, I mean, I don't know, they're running out of food names. But Foodily is an iPhone app.
It's a funny name.
It is a funny name. The reason that I want to talk about it on a show about iPads is that the iPad app actually works well because I find...
Actually, it looks great. You would never know that's an iPad
Yeah, exactly.
iPhone app.
The pictures work out nicely.
Yeah.
And also, I find that when I'm in the kitchen... I use my iPad propped up kind of on the counter somewhere. Not really my iPhone because it doesn't stand up and it's hard to read from a short distance type of thing. So on Foodily, what's interesting about it is at first I thought, oh, it's just one of those sites where you rate your food. You go to a restaurant and you rate the pancakes. That's not really true. They actually have picked experts who are sharing recipes, many experts, so it's not as if you do have a very big database to choose from, but the idea is that let's say that an account called Lulu Powers has something called bite-sized baked brie. I'm interested in that. I go ahead and look at it.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Yeah, so I can see that there are 3 photos of the food. 153 people have saved it, couple comments, and then you get into the ingredients, nutrition information, and then you can, if you want to know more about how it was prepared, then you get bumped over to the originating website, Joy the Baker. So I think what Foodily has done is they've gone through and put a bunch of sites on their experts list type of a thing. So this is not about me saying, hey, I made hummus. I'm going to upload some pictures of the hummus, like my hummus type thing. It's if I try this recipe that was put together by an expert, then I could take pictures from inside the app. In fact, if I go back...
Oh, look, they have calories. Good.
Yeah, they have all sorts of information. I have the opportunity to, let's say there was, there was the baked brie in front of me. I'm just looking at the.
Oh, you take a picture of it.
Take a picture of it, and then you add it to whatever recipe, and they even have like a little Yumify app.
It's really a depressing picture.
Yeah, the other side of iPad today. Now y'all know what it looks like.
It is not a good look.
I'm not going to add that to the recipe because that would actually be really bad information for the baked brie people. But the idea is that you and I are not adding recipes to this app because
but we're adding images.
We're adding images if we have tried the recipe and we have something to contribute, and reviews as well. So you can comment, you can save. You don't have to log in through Facebook Connect, but if you do, they're tightly integrated with Facebook because they want people to be sharing recipes on Facebook. And if I like something, then it would go to my timeline.
I think that's cool. I think that's a good way to do that.
Yeah, in fact, Foodily was one of the first apps that Facebook showed off at F8 when they were announcing the timeline and how it would incorporate into the timeline nicely. So the app is great. Now, the reason that I think that this is a good New Year's resolution app is that it has a social component. So again, let's cancel out of this picture. I really should not be adding this picture to anything. But I've gone into Faves. Now, Veronica Belmont, a friend of ours.
Does she use Foodily?
Friend of Twit. Yeah, she uses Foodily. Oh. And what I did was, so I'm following a bunch of people. I'm following some. They have a suggested users list.
I'm doing Foodily.
Yeah, and then you are automatically, if you sign in through Facebook, connected to all your Facebook friends who are also using Foodily.
There are a lot of cooking apps, but I think, look at all the people who are Foodily.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, these are people to invite, but there are people who are already, who I'm already following that are in the system already. And if I see, okay, well, Celine Steen has 549 faves, and I've seen that she kind of knows what she's talking about. She's got a bunch of followers.
This is great.
Yeah.
Because there's Epicurious, there's a lot of cooking apps. We've shown many, but this is the first one that's really socialized, and I think that's the way it should be.
It's very social, and it keeps the quality up because it's not letting everybody upload just a bunch of junk. Right. I mean, it's people who have a recipe, they have photos, they have step-by-step preparation, they have calorie count, all the stuff it keeps it feeling very pro. But then anybody can contribute if they want to. And then I have my little faves area.
So you could upload a recipe.
Yeah. Well, no, because I'm not on their...
You have to be an official Foodily...
it's curated. So I'm not exactly sure how they're choosing
you could earn your
all
way,
their
though,
curated
do you think?
accounts.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, maybe I could get a hold of them.
Right.
But I do have my little faves area. There was... this was from Smitten Kitchen, which is actually... an account that I know because they have a nice little they were featured on Flipboard
roasted eggplant with ricotta and mint.
Hello,
that does sound good.
Yeah, so again,
now, this is great for you. You're a vegetarian, so that you can narrow it down to vegetarian recipes, and it looks like there's a lot of them on there.
Yeah, and when you first sign up for Foodily, it will say things like, okay, well, what are you interested in? Here's some well-known accounts. There's one that's like Meat Lover's Paradise. It's like, I'm just not even going to bother following him because I know that
for you.
There aren't recipes that
I might follow
make.
that. Yeah.
But then even, I'm not vegan, but I'm interested in vegan recipes, so I can learn a little bit more about that. And what I think about, New Year's resolutions are sometimes the easiest to follow when you're kind of doing it with somebody else.
I agree.
So you and I could both follow each other on Foodily, and let's say that we're going to cut out carbs or whatever we were going to focus on. Then we could be kind of going back and forth and connected to each other this way. App is completely free, works really well, and again, it's even though it's iPad. It's not iPad enabled specifically. It works fine, but it also does work on the iPhone. So that's the sort of time where you're probably going to be shopping more often with your iPhone than your iPad type of thing. So you can actually pull it up in a variety of situations.
There's a wonderful iPhone app that I used for a long time to keep track of calories, keep track of what I'm eating. It's called Lose It, and I do recommend it. But unfortunately, they never made an iPad version of Lose It. So I went on a quest, a search, to find something that was as good as Lose It, and I think I found something that's pretty darn good. So these are the idea behind a program like this is it's good on an iPhone because you're always carrying it with you. As you're eating something, you record what you're eating, and even if it's not exactly right, the process of becoming conscious about what you're eating is actually very valuable. This is the program I ended up with. It's called My Net Diary, and I really think this is actually even better. You set goals, as with all of these, and you can even set goals in terms of fat, carb, and protein. Make a plan for yourself, and then it does a kind of a spreadsheet of what you've eaten. Notice I added some baked brie here. I searched for brie. You can even take
We
pictures.
both searched for brie.
No, it was after you did that. You can even take pictures of what you want. Create custom foods, of course. Scan in foods. Keep track of your exercise because we know it's not merely diet; it's also exercise. And there's even notes, vitamins, medication. Track of your water. We got to have lots of water right in there, and it shows your progress in a graphical form. This is a very inspiring, very nice, easy to use app that I like quite a bit. It's called My Net Diary.
Now it's $10, and you feel like it's worth it?
Absolutely. I know it's not inexpensive, but you also get an account at My Net Diary where it can keep track of all of this stuff and so forth. So I think you get your money's worth, and there's an online community as well, Twitter integration and so forth. So this, you're right. It's expensive. Lose it's free, so it's a little frustrating. But I think it's a great idea to keep track of what you eat, to become conscious about it. Has always been valuable for me. I'll give you another example. There was an app, a great app for many years on the iPhone and the iPad called iFitness. It was kind of the king of exercise trackers. You could make a plan for the exercises you wanted to do.
I feel like you've talked about iFitness on the show before.
What's unfortunate about this, and they even have videos so you can learn the exercise. Here's good pictures. Unfortunately, the guy who made this program got in trouble with Apple for gaming the ratings system.
How do you...
Well, I think he was posting fake reviews or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but the app got yanked.
Well,
he sold it to another company, which might not have been another company because they got yanked again. So iFitness has disappeared, and it was the best. It was the best in this category. It is too bad. It was a great program. Some people still have it, as you can see. I still do, but many people have.
It's just not getting updated.
Well. It's not that. It's just that a lot of people who updated their iPads or their iPhones lost it. Sometimes when you update, you lose an app. So as I think many fitness buffs did, I went on a quest to find something as good as iFitness, and I think I found something. There's a free and paid version of this. It's called Fitness HD. You can have workouts. There's an exercise base. There is a food and body tracker in here as well. A free version and a paid version. This is their little thing. They've got a trainer, nice looking guy. So he says, why don't we look at your BMI? It's 32.7. That's obese class 1, maybe. So you can ask the trainer a question, and an expert will come back to you. It has an exercise base that you might say looks a little bit kind of like that one that was in iFitness. I don't know, it's very similar. I don't know if it's the same, but it has much of the same capability, including videos. And I think videos are very helpful when you're watching or learning a new exercise, to watch good form. Form is everything when you're doing, especially weights.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever done a machine for a while and you're like, I'm so good at this.
Yeah.
I can do like 120 pounds, and then you realize you're about to break your neck because you're positioned all
Machines
wrong.
are good, but you got to be very careful.
You have to know
This
what you're
also has, and I know you're a yoga buff, this also has yoga positions in it. They do a yoga app as well, but I think...
Are these like... they're not real people.
That's a real person.
I don't think it is.
Oh,
no,
no,
I think,
it's a real person.
I think it's
You think it's a
CG
simulated?
lady.
No, that's not CG. Here,
I think so.
Let's look at, how about the advanced sumo squat? You couldn't get a computer to do that.
No, she's fake. That is not a real person.
No, that's a real person,
It is?
Sarah Lane. Yes.
No, it just looks...
You're just living in the uncanny valley.
I guess so.
Anyway, I think this is a nice program. Might confuse you a little bit because there are a variety of programs. The name is generic Fitness HD.
So there's a free version and a paid for
Free
version.
and a paid version. It's fairly inexpensive. They also have a yoga, as you can see, app. I was impressed by this. iFitness is still the king in my opinion, but this is pretty close. Fitness HD. There's the free version, and it's almost as complete. It doesn't have the trainer, so big deal, and you can always go and buy the
As long
full
as you can
version.
see how things go, and you want to spend a little bit of time and effort trying it out, making sure
and
that...
that's where, and I've showed you this before, so I'm just going to mention it very quickly. You know my scale tweets, right?
I do. I haven't seen many of them lately.
No, well, it's
'Cause
embarrassing.
you don't get on the scale anymore.
I don't want to get on the scale. So it also does my blood pressure, by the way. I have a blood pressure cuff. This is from Ythings, WITHINGS. The app is free, but you need the Ythings hardware, which is not free. You can see my weight fluctuating quite a bit. There's also fat. lean, and then you can also see blood pressure. So this is a great way to not only see it yourself in a graphical fashion, so you can see your progress, but also to tweet it. And I think we were talking about the value of support. Tweeting your weight and your blood pressure is certainly very valuable. Mine's high in both respects.
Now, does Y-Scale allow you to tweet at a particular time of day, or is it just up to Y-Scale? Because
it's whenever you get on the damn thing.
But nah, I don't think so, because you and Kevin Rose for a while and a couple other people I know, it would be 4 tweets in a row.
Well, we all get on the scale in the morning.
But not exactly at the same time within seconds
I
of
call
each
up
other.
Kevin and I say, "You going to weigh yourself now?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, me too."
I doubt that very much. No, it's funny because it'll be like,
That is pretty
the goal
funny.
is 180 by the end of June. The goal is 205 by May.
It's kind of embarrassing.
But it's all at the same time.
If
so
you
want to
see it's Leo's_scale. You can watch it.
It's not embarrassing. I mean, you're a braver man.
I don't
than
know
me.
many women that will do this. If for some reason guys don't seem to mind so much, but women, they don't want anybody to know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think I would care. It's just that, like,
well, you're
with
tiny.
The fluctuation.
You know, when you weigh 85 pounds, it's not so embarrassing. When you
Well.
weigh 185 pounds, it's a little more embarrassing. So that's all. I mean, I think.
I suppose.
But I think this is important. You know, I was showing you before the show. This is from the Centers for Disease Control, a video of how obesity has climbed in the United States. This is 1997. By the time we get, by the way, you know, the lighter blue color is less than 10% obesity. The darker blue is 10 to 14%. 1989. If you just fast forward 12 years, or 22 years rather, look at that. It's all dark red. We're having an obesity epidemic in this country. And so these are a couple of things that could help you.
Something that's cool about Y-Scale is, yes, you have to be brave, and there's a certain amount of privacy that you're giving up, but at the same time, it's the cheering on of your peers that really helps people. Yeah. And you know, the pressure's on a little bit more, but that's often what resolutions are all about, is actually doing things that you just have never gotten around to yet that you do care about.
I'm going to share my resolution with you.
Good.
Leo's scale. Everybody follow that, and I will start weighing myself every day, and you can see how bad it's gotten and how good it gets.
Good. And
Last time I weighed myself was November 5th, and it was embarrassing. And then
I didn't get on my scale during the holidays. I knew it wouldn't be good.
There's blood pressure on here too, which is fun. So yeah, and I need to get both down. So this is good. It's good peer pressure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So those are several apps that, well, maybe they don't encompass your resolution, but they probably encompass
a lot of you.
A lot of you, and maybe even a couple that you didn't formally have. So, there's one more before we
I think this is a good one. I like this one.
This is a good one, and many
everybody's
of you are going to say this is the most obvious one ever, and it is. It's true because it's native in iOS 5, and that's the Reminders app. We talked about it a little bit when iOS 5 came out, but I find that this app. So I am always trying to be more organized. I am somewhat organized. I try to get a lot of things done, but I'm not always going about it the most organized way. So as part of our jobs here at iPad Today, we try a lot of organization apps. So many of them do more than what Reminders does, but I think that Reminders is often, it's so simple that it will actually help you get things done rather than almost be a barrier to getting things done, because some of the apps are so complicated that you actually have to spend some time getting organized in a whole different way. Reminders.
Well, Razorback is recommending OmniFocus, which is the most complicated to-do list in history.
Yeah.
And if you're inclined that way, it's great. But sometimes that's really off-putting.
OmniFocus is it's something that you have to put a lot of time and effort into using, so that it'll help you. Reminders is.
We've all got it.
It's almost one. It's
and if
just
you're
one
using
step
an
beyond
iPhone,
using the notepad.
And if you're using an iPhone, you can talk to Siri and have it set reminders
That
and things
too.
like. I have Siri, for instance, when I leave the house, remind me to go to the gym. Things like that. That's great.
Yeah. So in the iPad view, and again, this works on the iPad and iPhone nicely. I have my reminders of things I have to do. I have my completed area, so I can remember what I did, when I checked it off on a certain day. It is as easy as that. I can obviously look by date or by list. And I love this thing. I honestly love this thing because every once in a while, I don't have time to get into, okay, what's the task, assign it a category, give it tags, assign dates, none of that stuff. I just want to write it down so that when I have a few minutes later on, I can remember what I need to do. I got to pick up my prescription today at Safeway when I get back to the city. And as soon as I do that, I'll check it off and it'll be completed. If I ever want to know when it was that I completed, it's in my history, and that's it. I love reminders.
Use it. You really use it.
Oh, yeah, I really use it. The only thing it really needs is a Mac app, so that because I've got my iPad, I've got my iPhone, and I need it as my Mac Store app, because then it will be a trifecta of awesome.
That's why, to be honest, I don't use I use reminders because of Siri on the iPhone, but I do use a different to-do apps because I want them to sync with Google Tasks, because then it goes to the desktop, then it goes everywhere. I can all my things. I haven't found, in fact, I'd love to hear from you guys at home, a good Google Tasks. Does Wunderlist work with Google Tasks? I haven't found anything on the iPad. I use Astrid on Android, and I'm very, very happy with that. Astrid also has that locale feature where when you leave somewhere, it will say, hey, or when I arrive at the grocery store, it says, hey, don't forget you have these 5 things to buy. That's kind of handy. I'd love to see something like that on the iPad. So if you've got a tip, let us know.
Absolutely. In fact, let us know at iPadtoday@twit.tv. That's our email address. You can also visit twit.tv/IPT. That's where you can watch all of our past episodes. You can subscribe to the show, which we hope that you do, so that you don't even have to think about when a new episode comes out. But the best way to watch, of course, is live. We record the show on Thursdays, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. And again, if you have any app ideas of your own or questions, comments, you can actually comment on all of our episode pages themselves. That's where we have all of our show notes, links to apps, everything that we talked about in the show, where you can always send us a private email or a voicemail or a video. And we read everything, and we appreciate it. So thank
Excellent.
You. Yes.
I do. I've just been searching on the app store, and I do see some task managers that work with Google Tasks. So
good.
I haven't tried any of these. I do have Pocket Informant, which is a calendar update, and I've used Calangoo, but I'll try some of these, and I'll get back to you.
The task management app world is vast.
It is.
I think if you are just an unorganized person, try reminders. Start small.
You know
and
what?
then
That's
once
me.
you feel like you're kind of getting the hang of it and you're not forgetting things, then you can move on to the OmniFocuses.
I think that's what happens, is that people, instead of getting something done, they spend all their energy on getting a system to get something done.
Orchestra, for example, that's a really cool app, but I find that it's almost a little too much. It's not hard. It's just
too much.
There's just sometimes
You're right.
I just
Reminders
want to
just gets
take
it
notes.
done.
I just want to take notes. That's what I
haven't tried Orchestra. I'll have to take a look at that.
So, Leo,
Yes.
word came out earlier in the week that Apple is having an event later on
End
in
of
the
the
month.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know exactly what it's going to be about, but word has it from pretty much everybody who has knowledge of the deal that it's going to be publishing focused. So it's not going to be an
Textbooks,
iPad 3.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a new iPhone.
No.
And I think it's a little silly that anybody would think that there'd be an iPad 3 in January. But, this actually works.
Clayton seems to have the best inside track. Clayton Morris says he knows.
It's educational.
It's going to be textbooks.
Right.
Yeah. And remember, in the Walter Isaacson biography of Steve Jobs, Jobs said textbooks is one of the 2 or 3 areas we really want to focus on going forward. So I think that's what we're going to see. That's why it's in New York, because it's the publishing capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has anything to do with hardware. And everybody seems, Kara Swisher and All Things D and all of the people who have the inside knowledge saying, nah, it's not going to be hardware.
But imagine if the textbook area of iBooks was ramped up to the point
Think about
where,
that.
Yeah, students. Well,
We'd
not,
all like
not
to see
just
that.
students, but I mean,
We'd all like to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And being able to, I mean, I really like the idea of, if you were, let's say you had a book, you wrote a book,
Yep.
and you were a self-publisher. You get into iBookstore. Imagine down the road the multimedia. The stuff that you could add into a book, like maybe a video intro,
Right,
or some nice photos, or that sort of thing. I love the idea of having interactive textbooks that are available to anybody to make and consume.
Let's say you have the great classic astronomy textbook, and then you got the best lecturers in the country to do their lectures, and you had that as an additional feature of the textbook, things like that. And the rumor is perhaps iTunes U will be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that is what we're talking about, is textbooks plus multimedia.
So you save your back because you don't have to lug around that astronomy book,
Right.
and you save, well, you don't necessarily save money, hopefully potentially money, because you can just update it without having to go get another big old
It's always
book.
up to date. That's a good point.
It's always up to date.
But you lose the used book market, and that's a big part of the textwood economy.
That's
Is you
why
get
I
a
feel
$150 textbook, at least you could sell it for $80.
Well, I feel like the updates are going to be pricey, because how would the publishers get on board otherwise?
Right. So
they still
far,
want to make all their...
so far, sad to say, the digital textbooks have not been much cheaper than paper, and that really depresses me, because that was a big opportunity.
Well, we will pay close attention and let you know what is happening at Apple's announcement later in the month, again in New York City, publishing capital of the world. We got an Ask Leo from Leonard Hope. He actually is an associate professor at DeVry University. He says, I really enjoy your show. I teach at college. I use the iPad connected to a projector and several apps, including Whiteboard, 2 Screens, and others. I also use some specialty apps like Financial Calculator as I teach finance and accounting. I know that I can move from one app to another, but is there a switch like AltTab that I can use to switch between running apps?
Well, there is, yeah.
You can use your...
Double tap the home button, and then you'll see all the apps that are running. I actually use this more and more now. I wasn't a big fan of the idea of having multitasking. Let me show that again. So let's say you're in Safari, you're in the browser. You double tap in any app, and you'll see all the apps that you've run lately. Not all of them are in memory anymore, by the way. People often look at this and say, boy, I better close all these apps. This is stuff I ran days ago. It's just there for convenience. Most of it has already been closed and is out of memory. But let's say you're in the, I'm looking at Safari, and I want to quickly go to Twitter. I just tap that, and it is like Alt-Tab, isn't it?
Well, see,
that's the closest you can get.
I thought he was talking more of wanting that 4-finger swipe between.
Well, you can do that too, can't you?
Right. So you don't. You're kind of. You're staying.
You can't always do that.
Why not?
I'm in the wrong app. Well, that app uses that. Doesn't it? There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh, that's another good way to do it.
Violently doing it.
Well,
but you get the idea.
Are you gentle when you do that?
Well, I don't. My iPad doesn't shake. Calm down. Remember, new resolution.
No beating up your iPad.
That's right. Where you'll just have to get
you know
another
what?
one.
The reason I don't use that, it only works like half the time. Half the time it drives me crazy.
I like it, but I kind of it's. I really only go back and forth a few times. You know, it's like Twitter,
so
Foursquare.
You use that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
If I know what's on the other side, I do, because it's easy.
Now that
if I have too many programs,
that you have to turn on, do you not?
Yes, you do.
So if you go into the general and multitasking gestures,
that's correct.
And it tells you use 4 or 5 fingers to pinch to the home screen, swipe up to reveal the multitasking bar.
That's helpful.
So that's maybe a shortcut faster. And the reason I use this is because I can see where I'm going. Because when you do this, you don't know where you're going. You kind of just hope that you find what you're.
That's why I don't go too far, because then I have no idea where I am.
Where am I? So do this, and then you can pick what you want, right?
Just don't be violent.
But when am I supposed to be able to do that? Oh, look! Whoa, that worked.
Hey, I like that. It's like expose.
Yeah.
I like that. Show everything.
There you go.
So thanks for
better
the
than
email,
Alt-Tab.
Leonard. Hopefully we helped you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the home button works, but there are a few other fun little exercises.
I don't know. I just always
use
use the
using
home
the
button.
same apps over and over in your classroom. That might be.
That's an iPad 2 specific feature, right?
That's true.
Okay.
Or iOS 5. iOS 5 specific.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So.
You brought a toy.
Well, I didn't bring it, but it was sent to us. In fact, they sent us a couple. This is called the Spider Arm. And what's interesting about it is that we actually haven't opened it yet, because we're not quite sure where to put it, because it relies on a clamp to clamp onto a surface area.
And it's a little thin arm, so it's kind of subtle. We could use them here instead of these stands that we use.
We could, but then I don't.
What do we clamp it to?
I mean, I guess you could
there's
clamp
a picture.
it onto the side of
Andy Anako says he uses this in bed, just like that.
Yeah, he mentioned that if he's tapping, it'll take a second to stop shaking.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad as long as he's being gentle with it. I like the idea of this, because you can kind of put it anywhere. But I don't know. I just think that looks silly. I don't know. I like this in the kitchen, though. In the kitchen, that can be really helpful.
Look at that. That's
Don't
cool.
know if I'd put it right above the spaghetti sauce. He's a brave guy.
Yeah, he's going to steam his iPad.
Yeah. I think he's using Epicurious there. But But that, I mean, I would love that.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I'm always kind of getting my iPad a little mucked up. But what's nice about Spider Arm is if this is something that appeals to you, it's $80. There's free shipping if you're in in the US or Canada. So that's pretty affordable. Now, the reason that we're even really talking about the Spider Arm, and thanks to the Spider Arm folks for sending it to us, is that Robin Ting forwarded a Kickstarter project, actually, it's called the Float Stand, and it seems pretty similar to the Spider Arm, except that the base is on the floor, so it's not actually clamping onto anything. It's almost more like our floor models here. Chad, do you have that video? So this is, this is, the Kickstarter people make these nice videos that kind of show you what they were thinking. And so this is kind of a beautiful project. Even though it's floor mounted, some people might prefer that, first of all, but also it kind of gives you a little bit more leeway as far as how far away it is and where you position it, because you don't have to mount it on anything. And it also works with a variety of other tablets too, which I thought people would like. Here's the issue I have with the Float iPad stand. So this is a Kickstarter project. It's almost at the amount that it needs, but it hasn't gotten it there yet. I think they only have another week or so. And if you're not familiar with Kickstarter projects, if you've donated money to a project, which is how projects get funded, if the project does not get the amount of money, the minimum amount it needs to actually go into production, everybody gets their money back. So they only have another week or so to get another $10,000. But in order to donate and then get the Float iPad stand, you have to donate $250.
That's a little much. These are expensive. Float is Flote, by the way.
Correct. The Float iPad stand, Flote, made by Dave Cutler in Reading, Connecticut. It's a beautiful thing, but that is steep, in my opinion. Now, it does come with hoodies, and there's some other goodies that you get with that price. But, okay, you really have to like it. You haven't seen this thing yet. So that just gives you an idea of the Spider Arm seems like something that you would like, but you like the Float Stand better. There is quite a bit of price difference between the two.
The Spider Arm is a little flimsier. The Float, one of the reasons it's so expensive is machined aluminum metal. I mean, this thing is...
Dave, who in his video, he introduces himself and why he decided to make this, and one of his reasons is, the iPad it's kind of heavy and it starts to bother me. It starts to make my neck hurt when I'm holding it for a while. I don't feel like I have that problem. Maybe I just have really strong arms. I'm not sure, but
you do. You have guns. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are big. They actually are pretty big.
No, they are.
I'm proud of them.
I know. No, you should be.
Good stuff. Yeah. But when I'm, it's like I hold it, or I prop it up against my knees, or
you don't mind
on
that.
the side.
Doesn't bother you.
It doesn't really bother me, but if it bothers you, then you might want to look into a couple of solutions like this.
By the way, $875, you can get a 14-karat gold float stand. I'm tempted. I think everything should be gold in my life.
Totally.
Yeah.
Gold teeth, gold iPad stand.
Everything. Bling everywhere. That's my goal.
Gold vest.
Yeah.
Just like a chain link gold vest.
It would
go with everything. Okay, let's move on to a Dutch tip. Chris Cantrell, he has discovered a Dutch tip that I didn't know about. You might have not, Leo. He says, I consider myself a pretty savvy iOS user, but I recently discovered a feature in the camera app I was not aware of. So, if you're in the camera app, all right, so I'm about to take a picture. So it's, I'm looking at myself now, and I want to instantly access my photos. Swipe left. There we go. So that's the last photo that I took, right? And if I do this, then I get all my photos. And if I do this, I'm back to the camera app.
Oh.
So if I don't know if I was going to take a picture, I'm like, wait a second, did I just take this picture?
That's very handy.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Did I know that? Did I take this picture? No,
That's
I
cool.
took that awful picture. Wait. What did I take before that awful picture? Oh, yeah, these other pictures. Neat. I love it.
And you get back to the thing by just the camera just by swiping.
Yeah, it's basically just the last picture.
The other way. Got it.
So you can go, actually, I'm not sure if you go, let's try this. If you go into, where are my photos?
The gallery?
Yeah.
Would it work in the gallery?
I don't
the photos?
know. Let's find out. Wait. Wait. Oh, well, hold on. Let's go in. Let's do what I did before. No. Okay, so you have to be in the camera app.
Okay.
So it's access to photos when you're already in the process of taking a picture.
That's mostly how I get to the photos, by the way, is I'll open the camera and then I'll tap the photo thumbnail. I can never find my photo gallery.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I've put it in some folder somewhere.
Very helpful.
As you did,
Very
I
helpful.
noticed. You've hidden yours away as well.
Well, I put them in the photography folder because
That's a thought.
That's where all my stuff is.
That's a thought.
Photography folder.
Now you're
Yeah,
working.
so thank you for the duh tip, Chris. I did not know about that, and chances are maybe some of you out there didn't either, so hopefully you were helped. Duh.
So apparently it works on the iPhone too, which is good. I'm going to give that a try.
Excellent.
Now, should we take a break and then come back with more?
Yes.
Whatever else is left. News? Did we do news?
Yeah, we did some news.
We did so next it's App Caps.
No.
No?
Well, we only have one sponsor this week, so you're all thrown off.
I am.
We're going to come back to some viewers like
Oh, a
you.
little video, a little audio,
Yeah.
a little something, something?
A little something,
All right.
something for the people.
Before we do that, I want to talk about our phone system, if you don't mind. How do you like our phone system? Have you ever thought about our phone system? Have you ever put any energy into thinking about those phones on your desk?
Well, they're nice because they look like little cell phones.
Yeah,
I've never had an office phone so pretty and sleek.
Russell found those, and those are really cool, right? And the reason is we're all in the same big room, so he thought, well, the people who sit at desks in the big studio will need a little portable, kind of cordless, so they can walk somewhere else. In my office, I have a big desk phone with multiple lines and all that. This is all because we're using Ring Central. It's so flexible. It was one of the things I had to figure out when we built this studio. We didn't have a phone system in the cottage. We had a landline with a cordless phone, and that was it. And most people use their cell phones.
Yeah.
But eventually, you get 20 employees, you're a small business, you really have to have a phone system. We've got producers making calls. They don't want to use their personal line to make business calls. But they can use their cell phone with Ring Central. So here's the deal with Ring Central. No PBX in the basement. In fact, it's much more flexible than a traditional phone system, a lot less expensive, and so easy to configure. It was Russell, our IT guy, Russell Tamaney from Exponentia, who recommended it. I said, what am I going to do? He said, I've been installing Ring Central. So we got it, and it's fantastic. Easy for him, easy for us. All we have to do, if we get a new employee, I give them the phone. We use Polycom phones. I like those. Give them the phone. They plug it into the jack. It works. They have an extension. They have a Ring Central app for the iPhone, the iPod or iPad, and for the Android phones, which has not only has your voicemail and your messages and stuff, but also lets you call an extension. I can call an extension from my iPhone directly as if I'm at work. In fact, I can make calls from the Ring Central app that appear as a work number. So when I call somebody from home, I'm doing it from my work phone, and when they call back, they'll call the work phone, but I can have it ring my cell phone. It is very flexible and very affordable, too. As the guy who pays the bills, I'm happy about that. $25 a month per person gives me unlimited long distance, U.S. And Canada. It gives me fax in my inbox, all sorts of great features. Try it free for 30 days, a risk-free trial at ringcentral.com, or call 800-800-4070 to find out more. 800-800-4070, ringcentral.com. Here we are 6 months into our new phone system, our new studios, and I couldn't be happier. I just really, really like it. ringcentral.com.
It's like beautiful email forwarding that no one knows what's going on behind the scenes.
Did you know that you could put it on your iPhone?
Yeah.
You did know that?
Yeah, I haven't.
I didn't.
But I'm also...
I didn't actually know that.
Really?
Yeah, and somebody did something, and I said, how'd you do that? And they said, well, you have the app, right? I said, no. So there's all these, it's kind of fun. There's features you can discover.
Well, some of the folks, I don't spend a lot of time on the phone at Twit because we're usually doing shows like this, but
Right.
some of the people we work with are on the phone
Well, if you're a producer,
all the time.
you're like Nicole's booking.
Sure.
She's calling for products.
Lynn's calling people at CES
Lynn's setting up
right
CES.
now.
So they use it like crazy. Eileen, they all use it like crazy, and it's really it's a great feature. So ringcentral.com.
Thanks, Ring Central, for sponsoring us. All right, so this is the best email I've gotten in a while. You know why? Because
Why?
it was sent by Richard Zimmerman, who is the executive
Bob Dylan?
director at, perhaps related to him, it's up in Minnesota, of Orangutan Outreach.
Wait a minute.
Remember?
His name is Zimmerman, and he lives in Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
That's Bob's brother.
He works at the Minneapolis Zoo.
Oh.
Well, actually, I'm not sure if he works at the Minneapolis Zoo because I'm not sure what the entire organization is. But remember we featured the orangutans that were playing with the iPads?
Yeah, he's from there?
Well, Richard saw the episode.
People
and-
watch this show?
Yes, Leo. I know it's
I should really
hard
be more careful.
to believe, but it's true.
Yeah.
Or somebody told him about it, perhaps. But he is the director of Orangutan Outreach, and he says, "Thank you so much for covering our Apps for Apes program on your show.
That's so cool.
And then he sent us a website, redapes.org/A for A. That's the letter A, the number 4, the letter A. Here's a bit of background on what we're doing. Besides providing enrichment for orangutans in captivity, we're hoping to raise awareness of the crisis facing orangutans in the wild.
Oh, dear.
As a conservation organization, we're dedicated to protecting and saving them in their natural habitat. The Apps for Apes program is starting to scale up and will soon be distributing more iPads to orangutans in different zoos. We expect it to be pretty amazing as they start communicating online.
That's so neat.
It's the best thing ever. So
they are accepting donations if you want to help out with their iPad project.
they are. And
Or, in fact, if you have a gently used iPad you'd like to donate to an
That's true.
orangutan. Wouldn't that be cool?
That's actually something that, if you could donate to something like this, and this is a cause that speaks to you,
I love that.
please do. But even better, if you've got maybe a first-gen iPad. I don't know, maybe there's an iPad laying around that you don't use. I mean, I love my iPad. I can't part with the one that I have, but maybe you're in a position to donate. They could really use it. Good cause. So thank you so much, Richard, for watching the show and telling us a little bit more about it. I think it's just fascinating, and I hope that they like their iPad.
And if you love orangutans, do not use palm oil.
Why?
Because that's what's threatening them. That's their habitat. It's all being chopped down.
Stop using palm oil.
I don't use palm oil. Does anybody? Is it a cooking oil?
It can be. It's in a lot of cosmetics.
That's probably it. Yeah. No.
Well, stop it. All right, we got a voicemail from, I don't think we know who it's from, actually, but he is Nest Curious.
Hey, I have a request. Me and my wife are thinking about upgrading our old, nasty thermostat, and we're thinking about that Nest.
Oh, yeah. I want to get one of
You guys
those.
are familiar with
Yeah.
it, but where the heck and when is somebody going to put a full review on this thing? Because it's not cheap. So before I spend that kind of money, I would love to hear a fantastic or a negative review regarding the Nest. And what better place to ask than people who know Mac stuff? Because one of the features is, I guess you can control it from your iPhone, which I thought was very clever.
It's Tony.
Anyway, that would be fantastic. Love the show. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
It's Tony Fidel's company. He was at Apple for many years, created the iPod.
That's right.
And it is a smart learning thermostat. You know what? We got to get one and do a review.
Well, this voicemail was actually sent in before the holidays. And for whatever reason, we kind of held on to it. There have been a few reviews that have come out on the gadget sites since he asked the question. So at the time that he sent us the voicemail, it was like we had all talked about how cool it looked, but nobody had really had their hands on it. There are a few reviews out there. However, as far as consumers go, they're sold out in stores.
Wow.
And their pre-orders are closed. They're sold out online too. So I see the pickle that you might be in, even if you're really interested.
I want this
Unless you can
thermostat.
get some sort of a review unit because you know somebody who works there, you might be waiting a while. Now, Byron in chat says that he has one. So some people have
So
them.
$250. Byron, I have a couple of questions for you. How hard was it to install? They showed them putting it in, and it was the same thermostat I have. So is it easy? You just put it with the same wiring where the old thermostat is? How does it work? Is it smart? Does it do what it says? It's the idea is that it learns
gets
your
smarter.
habits,
Yeah.
and so it
And it can
starts knowing when
see-
you don't want it to hot and so forth. $250 is a little pricey. On the other hand, if it saves you energy, it could be good.
Byron says it's easy to install.
Just two wires, right? You just-
Web4887 is like, how is that an iPad Today question? Well, it is an iPad Today question because for the people who are using it, is the app actually helpful? I mean, is it actually something that you can walk into your house or not even be home and be able to control your thermostat remotely
with your iPad
Yeah,
or your iPhone?
with
there
your
you go.
iOS device.
Right.
There you go.
So it's
Full
an
circle.
iPhone thermostat.
And the guy
iPad
used to work at
thermostat.
Apple.
Yeah.
What other correlations do you need? So yes, if anybody who has, if you've got a Nest set up, you probably have an opinion on whether it's great or if it's hard or if it's worth the money. To me, $250
There
doesn't
it is.
sound
Look there you
out
go.
of control.
Just like that. Boom.
if this is indeed a need that you have at your house, if you've already got a thermostat that works fine, I mean,
That's my thermostat. So I just plug it where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're nice looking, and I like the whole idea.
The worst thing is I'm going to have 2 screw holes in my wall. I'm going to have to get some spackle. See that? I'm going to have those holes.
Well, it'll cover those holes.
No, I think it's smaller.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe not. Let's see.
I don't know.
Let's take a look.
Let's
look at the tape.
see.
Oh, see, they have a panel that covers this thing. I get it. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. I want that.
The Nest. Let us know if you have a Nest or if you're waiting forever for it to be orderable.
Byron also says there's an app that'll let you tell it what wires you have coming out of your thermostat and if it's compatible with your existing thermostat.
Really?
These guys, this is great industrial design. I want to support them just because they're thinking. It's a cool product. It's a shame it is so expensive. It's even more of a shame that it's out of stock. I guess it's doing all right.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
oh, yeah.
They even have a level in the little installing thing. I think that's cool.
I love I'm a renter, so this is not the sort of thing that I'm going to spend money on.
Go ahead.
No, Leo, it doesn't work that way. My landlord would probably be mad at me or something if I did
Well,
that.
I'll do it. If we can get one, I will do it. I will test it.
Okay, good.
Because it looks like I could use that.
Yeah, I love it. The Nest, and again, let us know if you have trial by error experience of your own. Okay, so remember how I said that we were going to talk about obesity later in the show?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard me, but I did tell Leo that as we were starting. We're about to. Remember one Joe Mitchell? He was the Twit fan that he was competing on the show The Biggest Loser.
Yes. Did he lose?
Update.
Hey, Leo and Sarah. This is Joe Mitchell from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was on season 12 of The Biggest Loser. I was the one that I think Leo referred to as the fat one. Yep, that was me.
That was the
Look at him!
Whoa!
153 pounds are gone.
Joe.
I feel great.
Look at him!
I have to thank you guys. For
Joe. And he got a hot wife, too.
Well, I think that's just a
cardio.
Hollywood friend.
This Week in Tech, Back Break Weekly, and my personal favorite, iPad Today.
Oh, Joe.
Appreciate it, guys. Obviously, Twit does a body good. And hey, Leo, when you're ready to start that This Week in Weight Loss, I'm open.
You're the star, dude.
Thanks, Leo. Thanks,
Can you
Sarah.
believe
Look at
that?
him.
Joe, you are amazing.
Oh, my goodness.
He didn't actually win, but in his email that he wrote
he's
us,
a winner
he said,
in my book.
I didn't win, but believe me, you guys got me through some really tough times.
Good for you, Joe.
That, he doesn't even look like the same person.
Space
I would
guy who
never know.
watched season 12 says Joe was a cool guy, and I believe it. He looks like a cool guy.
He's the nice
neat?
one.
Isn't that neat?
Joe, we're so proud of you. Thanks so much for helping us help you. That just makes us feel really good. Reminder that we do love to hear from you guys. We had a lot of feedback in the show. iPad Today at twit.tv is the email address to write us at. Leave us a voicemail. The number is 757-504-4723. That spells out iPad. Or for extra points, send us a video like Joe did. Yay, Joe. It can be about anything. Question, comment, idea, anything. Just try to keep it to 30 seconds or less so that we can roll it in quickly. All right, now we're ready for our App Cap Awards, and you know what we did? We forgot to get App Caps before the show, Leo.
I'm making the universal sign. Sometimes when I do this,
It'll just appear.
people bring us hats.
Last week we got a shipment of.
Where's our shipment? We got a hat shipment.
We got a
No, Chad, they're in the. Where are they? Do you have them over at your desk?
No, I think they got moved into your office.
My office?
Oh shoot!
Chad's bringing us
spider
hats.
arm.
No, Chad's bringing us hats.
It's like.
But I want the hats that we.
super
here they are.
Thank you,
Here
Chad.
they are. These are hats.
Oh,
that
yeah,
were
these are new.
Sent to us.
This is the skater hat. I'm gonna be like, skateboard girl.
This is the Mad Bomber. All these hats come from the same place. You ready?
And now we forget where.
Yeah, we don't have the.
We're going to
the
make
email.
sure that we.
China. They all come from China.
Well, they're made in China, yes, but no, they came from somebody who works at a
hat place.
A hat place.
Anyway, we'll
And
get the letter and
we
we'll
will.
thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, we got
This
through
is
the
so
show
nice.
fairly organized until the end where we choked.
Yeah.
No, that is actually made of real rabbit fur.
Do I look like I've lost weight?
Yeah, very.
It's
very
a weight loss hat.
It's a slimming one. Well, you probably will lose weight.
It is made from
You'll-
rabbit fur.
you'll sweat
But
yourself.
the rabbits were already dead. It's roadkill. It's a special kind. This hat
Thank
is
goodness
called,
for that.
This hat is called the Mad Bomber, and I think it's appropriately named.
it is very, very warm.
What's interesting
when you're out
is
in the frozen tundra?
the choice of stripes.
Well, because it's also stylish.
Styling.
You're like a single guy striped shirt person. with and now right, when you're ready to go to sleep at night.
Why would they do that? What would be the purpose of flapping this flap
Because
down?
I know, because you're on the back of somebody else's motorcycle.
Oh, when I run the Iditarod, who needs to see?
I don't know why they do that. That's weird. It's just because
all of these things unbutton and configure.
Anyway, this is the part of the show where we wear ridiculous hats. Mine is not that ridiculous today. I actually kind of like this hat.
That's a cute
like
hat.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems like a skater hat.
Yeah,
like I should have
it's like a skater hat, yeah.
skateboard under my arm type of a thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. This is the part of the show where we crown 2 apps. One chosen by me, one chosen by Leo, that are our pick of the week. All right, so let's start with me. This is called Color Uncovered, and it's made by the people who run the Exploratorium in San Francisco.
Neato.
Yeah, neato indeed. My only gripe right off the bat is that it only works in portrait mode, but that's a small gripe because I actually think it's a pretty cool app. So it almost reads like a magazine. This is my table of contents. And they've got a little explanation of what something called Color Uncovered is about. These are all kind of, I guess you could call them educational games that help explain how our eyes process color. So you go, okay, like what? For example, okay, so you see the blue square, and then it'll give you some instructions like drag the circles around, how far you can move them before the illusion breaks. The illusion that there is a blue square. So these are kind of fun little games that you learn when it's scientific kind of stuff. And then it'll tell you a little about, hey, what's going on here? What is this illusion that we're trying to see? One of the ones, this one is kind of cool where you stare at the photo for 30 seconds. This is, of course, like the polarized inverse version of the Palace of Fine Arts. And then it's counting down 30 seconds, and at the end of the 30 seconds, your mind fills in what the right colors are because you've looked at the opposite of those colors for as long as you have, even though the picture itself is really only black and white. For the purposes of time, I'll skip ahead. These are just kind of neat little games. Now, I like stuff like this, and you might like stuff like this. But I know you must know a kid who likes stuff like this because kids love things where they go, wow, red and green, can you find the blue color in this painting? And then they look really hard, and it seems like it's here and there, and it turns out that there's actually no blue. It's tricking your mind type of a thing. So, yeah, I like this. It's completely free. It's from, if you're not familiar with the Exploratorium, it's a space that kids and adults and families can go to that's very interactive, science-y, kind of fun stuff. This is neat. This one's cool. If you stare at the blue dot inside the green, it's probably not going to translate through the camera, but the blue dot disappears. And then if you look away and then look back, then the blue dot's back.
But it has to be your eyes because the camera.
It's just the way your eyes process color. So anyway, that's exploratorium.edu is where a lot of these sort of fun experiments lie. But again, completely free, good for the whole family, especially if you like color. And it even explains a little bit about why, even though the iPad seems so colorful, it's actually just using 3 colors.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How do they do it?
I don't know.
So when we were at Le Web,
yeah,
a fellow named Jaron Hermkins came up to me and said, he's from the Netherlands, said, I want to show you my app.
And you said,
I said, okay.
Stay back.
Yeah, I said, get back. I'm wearing a rabbit on my head. And it's kind of an interesting story. The app is called Pics Thru. And it came about, as simple as the name of his company. He was trying to share images with his girlfriend as they were designing their living room. And he found it was just difficult to do so. So he actually built the app with his friend Damien Glancy. Actually, I say friend loosely. They've never met. Damien's in Ireland. And they created this app, Pics Thru. It's free or $1.99. Free. What it is a picture viewing app that allows you to view streams. Anything that has an RSS feed, you can have the streams in here. Tap any picture. But here's one. So you can have up to 3 live streams for the free version. For $1.99, you can have an unlimited number of live streams. But notice here's Pick Please. Here's my iPhotos folder, and I can use Dropbox. So this would be a very handy app if you had photos you wanted to share with friends and family. You used to be able to do this with Mobile Me Galleries, right? Well, now you can use a Dropbox, a shared Dropbox, put the photos in there, get them to have Pics Thru on their iPad, and it will automatically update with new pictures. And of course, you see these buttons. There's a lot of things you can do. This launches the web browser going to where this feed came from. You can also email it to people. It'll launch email. And notice it does a nice job of putting the picture in the email. This is a really great. Let's delete the draft so I can go back to Pics Thru. You could favorite them. You can go to the next one. They have a slideshow, so it's great. And this is all coming from the same stream. But then if I go back to the home page of Pics Thru, I can see all the other streams that I've subscribed to. So I think this is kind of a fun photo sharing app. I enjoy this. These are the pre-populated contents, but it's very easy to either browse a gallery, add a Dropbox folder, or add a web stream from any website that has its own RSS feed. So, in fact, you could just go. Let me think what would be a good example of a site. Oh, I know, Stuck in Customs. So I'll go to Trey's site.
Trey Ratcliffe, friend of Twit.
Yep. And so it's going to auto-discover the feed.
That is really cool. It
Yeah.
took me a second to kind of figure out what was going on here.
And then it will add it to here. So it's, you know, he showed me, and it's kind of, if you like pictures, it's just a very easy way to, you could browse any Flickr feed. So if there's a person you really like on Flickr, that could be one of your streams. But I just like the idea, that's an interesting shot. I just like the idea of having a Dropbox folder that you can share with people and then have them have a slideshow based on that. Pics Thru, S-T-R-O-O-M. And you see this? There's a button, Add to Dropbox. So if I like some pictures, I can create a Dropbox folder. This is why he created it. He created a shared Dropbox folder with his girlfriend. As he was browsing these feeds, whenever he saw a picture he'd like, he'd just press that button.
I love
and it would
that idea.
Add it to the Dropbox. So, or your photo library. So it's a way of sharing. See how quick it is, too. It's a way of sharing images.
I actually could have used this yesterday because I was sending like 4 images to a friend, and what I did was I just attached them all to an email, and that's, you can do that, but it would have been easier to create a little Dropbox folder and then share that.
Pics Thru.
Pics Thru.
And
Pics Thru.
Yeah, Stroom, and a Stroom is Dutch for stream.
Oh, so P-I-C-S-T-R-O-O-M.
Exactly.
Dutch for stream. Last week we learned about klumpen. Well, I told you about klumpen.
We did.
And this
is the show where you learn
Stroom.
Dutch.
Yeah, that's kind of, we're minoring in Dutch, majoring in iOS.
iPad. Yeah, but minoring in Dutch and funny hats.
That too.
That's it for iPad today.
Can you believe it?
It goes so fast.
I know. This is where I go into a deep depression.
Oh,
well, no,
come
I
on.
actually do TNT, and then I go into a deep depression.
You
So
silly
TNT
girl.
doesn't depress me.
You know beer awaits. Thank you for joining us, and
Thanks, everybody.
we'll see you next week.
From CES.
At CES, we're going to be at the iLounge. How many square thousand? Like 200,000 square feet.
It's going to be bigger than last year, too.
It's going to be huge.
We're going to be live streaming from the floor.
What
actually,
time?
It's a little bit of a different time than usual.
I have my
I think it's
calendar.
11
I'll pull it
a.m.
up.
We'll definitely let you guys know on the Twit calendar. But if for anybody who can't watch it live, or if that's an inconvenient time for you, it'll be released as a regular show, just like we did at CES last year. It'll be a little bit more condensed. You know, we'll try to condense it a little bit from the, I think, 2 hours that we have for live streaming. But we're really looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. We're going to be extremely overwhelmed. But we will definitely dance.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Because you don't see us walking around much, and when we walk, we dance sometimes. So look for that as well.
I have it at our regular time. That can't be right.
I don't think it's at our regular time.
Okay.
Because, I don't know. You know what? Eileen knows.
Eileen
So
has scheduled all of this. It will be on the schedule.
She knows everything.
Do watch all week long. Our coverage of CES begins Sunday night.
That's right.
With a CES preview event. Tom will be there. Will you be there?
I come in Monday morning, but we'll start with first show of the day is the social hour.
The social hour. All right,
From
cool.
I'll be on the set. It'll be Amber won't be, but
We
yes.
have our Sky booth. If you do go to CES, come visit us in the South Hall. We'll be right in the entrance on the first floor there. As you go in the door, turn left. You can't miss us. And we'll be doing a lot of the shows there, a lot of coverage. Sunday night, Monday night, we're going to do the Steve Ballmer keynote at 6:30 on Tuesday night, and then we'll be doing Showstoppers. You're going to be doing the weekly daily gizmos.
That's
with
right.
Vicky Bartolo. Thank you.
And digital experience on Monday night as well.
Should be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And then all day Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Load up on zinc now.
I know, no
because
kidding.
we're gonna need it.
We'll see you in Vegas at CES, and next week or the week after, right here for iPad Today. See ya.
See ya. Oh.